Ariane could never have imagined that the son to whom she devoted such deep love would become capable of unjustly accusing her of a crime. The abandonment and betrayal he inflicted upon her were painful and devastating blows. After several years, he returns now seeking the inheritance she left behind and is confronted with a stunning revelation about his mother. Ariane shared with her father the same entrepreneurial desire. Together, they had started a company aimed at turning dreams into reality, an event planning and party organization business. Ariane had inherited more than just her mother's physical traits. She had inherited a fiery passion for celebrations. Even as a child, she watched in wonder as her mother transformed the ordinary into the extraordinary, giving every celebration, even the simplest ones, a personal touch. The house came to life under Ariane's mother's meticulous gaze, every corner and inch carefully decorated. The enticing aromas that wafted from the kitchen, the contagious laughter that filled the halls. Every detail was infused with love and dedication. It was from these scenes that Ariane's passion blossomed, a legacy of creativity and care that had shaped her since childhood. When she and her father decided to breathe life into their own event planning company, they weren't just entering the world of business. They were continuing a family tradition of creating moments that would be etched in memory. The company was a constant tribute to Ariane's mother, a way to keep her passion and legacy alive. Fate, mysterious in its plots, wove a new thread in Ariane's story. When she was already a young woman, in the midst of a wedding party, she crossed paths with Gautier. Their eyes met in the crowd, as if the universe had scripted a new storyline. Gautier, a widower, carried the solitary responsibility of raising his young son, Danton. As Ariane and Gautier embarked on a relationship, there was something more than just a romantic connection. Danton, the 8-year-old whose heart wore the scars of loss and turmoil, quickly found a safe haven in Ariane. His troublesome behavior at school and with friends echoed the emotional storms that had shaken his young life. Outbursts of violence and rebellion were his ways of coping with the absence of his mother and the unexpected changes life had imposed on him. Ariane's presence in Danton's life was like a beacon of light in the darkness. She wasn't trying to replace the mother he had lost, but instead offered a different kind of love and support. She opened her heart to him, showing that she was there to listen, understand, and share. Their conversations were like healing for the invisible wounds that Danton carried. One day, Ariane was taken aback by a simple yet meaningful question from Danton. "Can I call you Mom?" She felt her heart squeeze. How could she deny something so profound to the boy who had become an inseparable part of her life? She wasn't Danton's biological mother, but she had become a heart mother, a loving guide through life's winding paths. With a smile and a lump in her throat, Ariane said, "Of course you can, dear. I would be very honored." As time went on, the relationship between Ariane and Gautier not only persisted, but flourished. Their hearts, united by love, would soon lead them to a significant step. They decided to get married. Ariane, the expert in creating memorable celebrations, now had the opportunity to create her own dream wedding, and she knew exactly what she wanted. The wedding turned out to be a fairy tale, but the element that truly crowned the day with overwhelming emotion was Danton's participation. With confident steps, he walked down the aisle carrying the rings to the altar. Ariane and Gautier's eyes were fixed on him, overflowing with affection. A decade unfolded since the day Ariane and Gautier exchanged vows and rings. As time often does, it left its mark on their story. What once flourished with joy and harmony now showed cracks, the first signs of wear and tear beginning to appear. What were once minor quirks were now turning into points of conflict. The arguments, which were once rare, now seemed more frequent and intense. Meanwhile, Danton, the boy Ariane had welcomed and loved as her own son, now at 18, showed that the scars of his tumultuous childhood persisted. His resistance to studying and gradual withdrawal from family life were silent alarms of underlying issues. Life, often unpredictable and full of twists, was about to throw new challenges into Ariane, Gautier, and Danton's story. As the cracks in their marriage widened, external events emerged as turbulent waves, threatening to further shake the foundations they had built. The most devastating blow came when Ariane's father, her trusted partner in the event company, unexpectedly passed away. The news was like a bolt of lightning tearing through a clear sky, leaving behind a palpable void. The company they had built with so much love and effort was now under a shadow of uncertainty. Ariane found herself confronted with a new reality, one in which she would have to take the reins alone, facing challenges that were once shared. While Ariane was immersed in her own struggles, Gautier received a job offer in another country. It was a tempting opportunity, but also a dilemma. The prospect of a fresh start and a chance to rejuvenate his career gleamed ahead of him. However, it would also mean significant physical distance between him, Ariane, and Danton. Gautier made the decision to embark on this new professional venture, a choice that inevitably marked the end of his marriage to Ariane. Danton, now an 18-year-old young adult, faced his own choice. Choosing to stay with his mother, he declined the offer to accompany Gautier on his journey to a new country. Ariane, on the other hand, was overwhelmed with the responsibilities of the company that she had once shared with her father. Amidst this avalanche of changes and challenges, Ariane found a spark of inspiration, an idea that could be the solution to several problems. She proposed an idea to Danton. She invited him to join her in managing the event company. This decision would serve two purposes. First, it would alleviate the burden of responsibilities that now fell entirely on Ariane. Second, it would open an opportunity for Danton. He could gain a new outlook on the future, a chance to engage in a career. The young man, who had previously displayed immature and irresponsible behaviors, surprised everyone by agreeing to join his mother in running the event company. Little by little, he learned every aspect of the company's operations, from complex negotiations with suppliers to the nuances of client relationships. Danton was committed to learning and mastering every facet of the business. His dedication and remarkable skills led him to take on responsibilities for various departments, leaving the creative part in the capable hands of Ariane. Behind the facade of normalcy and success, however, a dark truth was hidden, something Ariane would discover in the worst possible way. In the quiet office of the company, Ariane was focused on upcoming event projects. Her work was interrupted only by the insistent ringing of the phone at reception. With each ring, the receptionist's voice echoed, hanging up one call only to answer another almost immediately. Approaching the receptionist, Ariane caught a glimpse of the shocking reality. Angry customers flooded the phone lines, expressing their frustration and disappointment. The absence of suppliers, the lack of food and decoration, the absence of music, all culminated in a disaster scenario that seemed unbelievable. Ariane, in a state of bewilderment and shock, examined her schedule and realized an unsettling discrepancy. There were no events scheduled for that Saturday morning. Confusion deepened when the receptionist revealed that Danton was absent and not answering his phone. Ariane's distress intensified as she realized the scale of the problem. More than 10 clients, trusting the company to create their special moments, were left with disorganized and ruined events. The truth hit like a stab in the heart. Danton had not only negotiated contracts for these events, but also received substantial payments from the clients. However, he had failed to make the necessary arrangements with suppliers. Even more distressing, he had disappeared with the money. The impact of this betrayal quickly reverberated through the legal actions taken against the company. As the sole legal representative of the company, Ariane was now immersed in a situation that forced her to confront not only Danton's actions, but also her own decisions. Accusations of fraud hung over Ariane. To face the fines and legal implications, she would have to mobilize all her resources. However, the storm was far from over. The sentence that weighed heaviest on her was the 1-year prison sentence, a distressing reality. The final blow came from an unexpected source. Danton, the son Ariane had trusted and loved, appeared as a witness in the trial. His words, however, were not of support or redemption. Instead, he incriminated her, placing the blame for everything that had happened squarely on her shoulders. While behind bars, separated from the world she knew, Ariane chose not to feed hatred or resentment toward Danton. Even in the face of the betrayal that had led her to that situation, she had opened her heart and soul to Danton as if he were her own son. She was not naive. She understood the complexities of human nature and the choices each person made. However, her choice not to succumb to hatred was a statement of her own integrity. Time marched on relentlessly. That year in prison, though it seemed like an eternity, passed like a brief breath in the vastness of time. Several decades unfolded, with each day and year leaving their marks. Danton, on the other hand, followed a dark path. Amidst turmoil and erratic choices, he built a life filled with uncertainties, wandering down twisted roads. His connection with Ariane had been severed, her betrayal echoing through the subsequent decades. He never sought his mother again, lost in his own tumultuous journey. The news of Ariane's death eventually reached Danton. However, his reaction wasn't marked by sorrow or mourning. Instead, he saw an opportunity to claim something that, from his perspective, belonged to him. Upon meeting Ariane's lawyer, Danton was confronted with the truth about what she had achieved after leaving prison. The company she had founded and led with such determination not only recovered from adversity, but thrived, becoming even stronger and more successful. Ariane had rebuilt her life, finding love again and building a family that included 3 adopted children. Over time, she had handed over control of the company to her children, who were managing it ethically and responsibly, maintaining the standards she had set. Danton then came across one last message from his mother, a note that encapsulated all the love, forgiveness, and hope she had always carried in her heart. Danton, my son, I loved you from the beginning to the end. I waited for you for many years, but know that you always had my forgiveness and my love. With love, Mom. The words in Ariane's brief note conveyed simplicity. It didn't carry any expectation of a specific action from Danton, no request for repentance or change. Instead, the note was a pure and raw expression of maternal love. Ariane, despite all the adversities she faced, chose not to let Danton's betrayal undermine her trust in relationships. She opened her heart to adopt 3 more children, demonstrating her ability to continue loving and trusting despite the scars of the past. Holding on to hope and human kindness not only shields us from bitterness, but also enables us to be agents of positive change.